Hello students, I am Vidya from English Magus. Welcome to another poetry video lesson. Today we will dive into Adrienne Rich's poem, The Trees, a thought-provoking poem by Adrienne Rich. In this poem, the trees are not just ordinary plants, they have a story of struggle, longing, and freedom. We'll go stanza by stanza, unraveling the meanings, imagery, and deeper messages hidden in the poem. So, let's get started by acquainting ourselves with the poet. Adrienne Rich was an influential American poet, essayist, and feminist. She is known for her powerful and socially conscious writing, which addresses issues such as women's rights, social justice, and the human condition. Rich's work often reflects her commitment to exploring the complexities of identity, politics, and personal experience. She received numerous awards and honors for her contributions to literature, including the National Book Award and the Ruth Lilly Poetry Prize. Now we will focus on the poem. I will recite each stanza and then explain it. Here is stanza 1. The trees are in their house. The roots work to disengage themselves from the cracks in the veranda floor. The leaves strain toward the glass, small twigs stiff with exertion, long cramped boughs shuffling under the roof, like newly discharged patients, half-dazed, moving to the clinic doors. In the first stanza, Rich introduces us to a scene where trees are inside a house. The imagery here is striking. The trees are struggling to break free. Notice how the roots are disengaging themselves from the veranda floor. This shows us that the trees feel confined and are trying to escape the unnatural setting. The leaves are straining toward the glass. This phrase creates a sense of desperation, as if the trees are yearning for the outdoors. Rich even compares the branches to patients who have just been released from a hospital, dazed and slowly moving toward freedom. The imagery is powerful, suggesting that the trees have been held captive for a long time, and now they are trying to regain their freedom. Let's read stanza 2. I sit inside, doors open to the veranda, writing long letters, in which I scarcely mention the departure of the forest from the house. In the second stanza, the poet shifts perspective to herself. She's sitting indoors, writing letters. Notice how she scarcely mentions the departure of the forest from the house. This tells us something about the human tendency to ignore the importance of nature or its struggle. The poet seems detached from the dramatic escape of the trees. This could reflect how we often take nature for granted or fail to recognize its struggle for freedom. Rich subtly points out that while the trees are fighting to break free, she is preoccupied with her own thoughts, hinting at the disconnect many of us have with nature. Let's move on to stanza 3. The night is fresh, the whole moon shines, in a sky still open. The smell of leaves and lichen still reaches like a voice into the rooms. In the third stanza, the tone shifts slightly. It's now nighttime, and Rich paints a vivid picture of a fresh, open night. The whole moon shines in a sky still open. This line suggests that the world outside is full of possibility and freedom, unlike the confined space inside. The smell of leaves and lichen enters the room, almost like a reminder of the natural world that is slipping away. It's as if nature is calling out to the humans inside, reminding them of its presence, its beauty, and its freedom. The imagery here is both serene and haunting, as it emphasizes the contrast between the wild outdoors and the human-made indoors. Here is the last stanza. My head is full of whispers, which tomorrow will be silent. Listen. The glass is breaking. The trees are stumbling forward into the night. Winds rush to meet them. The moon is broken like a mirror. Its pieces flash now in the crown of the tallest oak. In the final stanza, Rich uses powerful and dynamic imagery to describe the trees finally breaking free. The poet's head is full of whispers. These could be the whispers of the trees, or her own thoughts acknowledging what is happening. By saying these whispers will be silent tomorrow, it suggests that this moment is crucial, but soon it will be forgotten or ignored. Listen. The glass is breaking. This line is direct and vivid. It symbolizes the shattering of barriers, both literal and metaphorical. The trees are stumbling forward into the night, showing both their struggle and their determination to regain their freedom. The moon is described as broken like a mirror, and its pieces are seen in the tallest oak. This is a beautiful image, suggesting that freedom brings about a kind of chaotic beauty. The trees have finally made it back to where they belong, and in their triumph, even the moon seems to be reflecting their journey. It's a moment of liberation. Nature has reclaimed its rightful place. Let's reflect on the themes of the poem. The poem is about nature reclaiming its freedom. The trees breaking out of the house symbolize the resilience of nature and its desire to thrive without human interference. But there's also a deeper theme about confinement and the human condition. Just like the trees, we too may feel confined by the walls around us, whether they are physical walls or invisible ones like expectations and societal norms. Rich is urging us to think about what freedom really means, both for nature and for ourselves. The poem also speaks to the disconnect between humans and nature. The poet barely mentions the tree's departure, which reflects how we often overlook the significance of nature and its role in our lives. Think about this. Are there any glass walls in your life that you need to break? And how can we, as a society, better appreciate and respect the freedom of nature? With this, the lesson ends. As our poetic voyage concludes, I present to you a treasure trove of figures of speech woven into the fabric of this poem. Take a moment to pause, reflect, and explore these literary gems. If you found this video lesson insightful, consider showing your appreciation by liking, sharing, and subscribing. Thank you for joining me on this poetic odyssey.